Alright, so showing you the pieces for my upgrade. We got the center diff. We got the CVDs. And there are the shocks, aluminum body. And we're going to go with the Intigi aluminum blue rockers. And RPM hubs. Had the RPM A arms there, but we ended up changing those out. Those were for the Revo, so I didn't want to play around with the length of my stance of the car. So from your old plastic ones, you need to take out the little plastic bushing. Once that's in, throw that into the aluminum guys. And that's the rear assembly there. I'm going to move on to the front assembly. Same thing for that one. And be needing the plastic pieces that are in the original plastic rockers. Okay, so I'm going to put the bearing within the hub. So you got the smaller front and the larger back CVDs. Once the dog bone is in the cup, you just go ahead and put on the ball cap screw, and two of them should be good. Try to put them in, I guess, back and forth one to the other, because if you put one all the way in and the other one, they seem to bind, and then your CVDs fall out. So you're good to keep a tight, snug fit, so you don't have to worry about that. And that is the cover to the ball caps. They say that these ones here, for any reason they get too soft or there's too much play within, you can just keep tightening those hex screws, which will rejuvenate the knuckles, or the axle carrier, hub carrier. The plastic ones didn't seem to show any wear, but again, warm temperature. I'm assuming I'll be bashing this in the winter as well, so figured I'd upgrade now with that plastic stuff. So that's the rear there. I did the front assembly earlier. Same thing with that one. You're going to put in the ball cap screws. You have the push rods for the rockers. That's going to connect to the lower chassis, not chassis plate, but the A-arm. And same for the other side. And the front, pretty much the same as well. Push rod there. Once that's done, move up to the front, yes. And same manner that, the rocker down to the A-arm. Go ahead and open up our shocks. These guys come with shock oil. They are empty. You need to take the old shock bodies or the coils of the shocks off of the old shock bodies to be able to do this, unless you did buy any upgraded or softer springs. I'll take that off. Once the cap is off, fill it up almost a bubble to the top, I guess. And when you play, you're going to see it's going to go down a little bit or spray out one way or the other. You got to work out the air bubbles. Okay, went quite well. Now just put the shock over the body itself, and then the shock retainer at the end. These don't have the limiter. I'm assuming the stock ones do. I left the long throw. It's giving me a little bit more travel on the suspension, giving me a little more ride height. But I'm assuming if I needed to, I could take the retainer or the stopper from the original shocks out, which is what limits the travel of the shock. So I played around with the threading, see where I'm at. The only difference you could tell if you don't have the stopper is the drop you'd have from the suspension once you lift the car or you were to jump, which could cause, no, the dog bones were tight. Nah, it wouldn't do nothing to the dog bones. If anything, maybe the shock itself might move off of the retainer. So I'm going to put the shock mount up front, put the shocks in, and then connect those up to the rockers. Once got that up, then you can play with the shock preload. Make sure everything moves smoothly. And front was pretty much the same, but we're just going to bypass that. For that, just put your drive pin in, and then your wheel adapter, the hex wheel adapter. Go back and do the receiver now. Make sure that bushing or the sealet's in tight. You don't want to get any water in there. Thread everything back through and in. Remember, channel 1 is for your steering, channel 2 is for your throttle. Make sure everything's nice and tight and snug in there. Just pre-fit the ESC, make sure that there's not too much hanging out. You got the 2 back screws, and then from here you should have a little plate that goes over the wires again. There you go, that's the piece. Once that's in there, everything should be water sealed. And now time for the motor. Put the motor in there. Tuck the wires underneath the heatsink so you don't burn out melt anything. Tighten up the motor, we should be good at that point. Push down the ESC and close the battery tray. Everything should be secure for the electronics. Now we just have the gear mesh. Use a piece of paper to put in, and I press tight so it holds a little bit of a gap in between. Then you have the slipper guard, and finally with the shock towers. Not shock towers, body mounts. It's the complete car there.